Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So first off, really quick, I have to say happy anniversary to my husband of 13 years. We've been together for 14, married for 13. Today is our 13th wedding anniversary. So thank you for putting up with me for 14 years. So now we're going to talk about Josh Duggar. Not necessarily him, but someone from his past. The woman that he was supposed to marry, allegedly, right? So as you guys may know, this lady's name is Kayla Holt. Now the name Holt is familiar if you follow the trial because Jim Holt and Bobby Holt, that's her parents. They were good friends with Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, and Jim Bob set it up to where Josh and Kayla would court, and you know, it was supposed to eventually lead to marriage. It did not. But Jim and Bobby Holt, Bobby, she testified at the trial. She is an important piece to this puzzle of this trial because she was someone that Josh admitted to. He confessed to molesting not just his sisters, but another girl as well. Because Bobby Holt testified and she talked about her daughter courting Josh Duggar, a lot of people have kind of wondered, you know, who is she? So people have kind of started looking into her, and now it has led to her speaking out. Not a whole lot, but she's had a couple things to say, and she talked about how she's never had to speak out. Her life has been kind of private. She don't like to talk about that part of her life, but you know, now it's been publicized. So she formally courted Josh, and you know, last week, I think it was last week, he was found guilty of receiving and possessing CP or CSAM. Kayla, she had, you know, this romance with him. Well, can you really call it a courtship that didn't really last that long? Not really a romance, I don't. Anyways, they had this courtship, and it was publicized once her mom, Bobby Holt, took the stand. And now her whole purpose was to talk about Josh confessing to her. But of course, they kind of had to lead up to that. You know, how do you know the Duggars? So her mom had to say, hey, we were best friends with the Duggars. Our daughter courted Josh, you know. Now, Kayla, it does say here that Kayla appeared on the Duggars family TV special, 16 Kids and Moving In. So apparently she was on an episode or two of the Duggar show, 16 Kids and Moving In. So she took to Instagram on Thursday to open up about her past relationship, as well as how she feels about her mother testifying. This is the first time that she has spoken publicly about Josh since it was uncovered back in 2015 that Josh had molested his sisters. And ironically enough, she looks like Tati Westbrook. Does she not? Does Kayla not look like Tati Westbrook? Holy moly, they are. This is Tati's twin. I was going to call it the other word, doppelganger. Doppelganger, I think that's how you say it. So on her Instagram stories, she said, I try to keep parts of my past life more private and just talk about my life now. But I feel like what's been happening in the last week or so has kind of forced me to say things and talk about it. Many of you who are on here know that my family grew up with the Duggars and we were inseparable at one point. Many of you know about my past relationship and that we really didn't get to talk about it. It was kept quiet for most of my life until recently. So Kayla is now married. She just recently gave birth to her 5th child. She talked about her mom taking the stand. She thanked her mom, saying that she now has gained many more Instagram followers. Obviously, people, they're curious. I'm not even going to lie. When the name, you know, Jim Holt and Bobby Holt came up, before the trial, I was trying to figure out who it is. I was looking them up on Facebook. I was looking them up on social media to figure out who they were, kind of get a feel for this family, you know. So Kayla has stated, since her mom gave this testimony, that she has gained a lot of Instagram followers, a lot of people asking questions. Bobby discussed Kayla's relationship with Josh on the stand, stating that the Duggars did inform her and her husband Jim of Josh's molestation because they wanted the Holts to understand why Josh and Kayla had to end their courtship. So the mother on the stand, Bobby Holt on the stand, said, we have been friends with the Duggars for 36 years. Our children were best friends. Our oldest was Josh's girlfriend in November of 2002. It was formal. They were 14. So like I said, in their type of religion, you don't court. You're not just like casually courting. It's not just like, oh, well, let me date this person because they're cute and I think it'll be fun, and, you know, who knows, maybe it'll last a year, maybe it'll last forever, who knows. They court with the intent that, okay, I could see myself marrying this person. Or the father's like, okay, I could see my daughter marrying this guy, you know. So their courtship is to eventually lead to marriage. So technically she was the person that could have ended up with Josh Duggar. She could have married him. Now, Bobby testified that she hoped her daughter and Josh would get married, but the parents decided to call off the courtship after learning about Josh's molestation. Thank goodness. I bet they feel like they dodged the biggest bullet possible, right? Anyways, Kayla stated this week that although she had hoped to not discuss her past, she understands why her mother had to bring it up in court. She said, obviously, when you're called, you know, to testify, you're under oath, you have to tell the truth. She said, so when my mom was asked how she came to know the information she was witnessing about, she had to tell the truth. That kind of brought to light my past. Not that I'm trying to hide it. My closest friends know, but I didn't really want to broadcast it everywhere, but it's kind of been happening without me really pursuing that. She went on to say, so I have felt like I had to talk about it, which is okay. I'm not ashamed of it. And she shouldn't be ashamed of it. She should not at all feel ashamed of it, but, you know, she's married now. She has children. And, you know, when the person that you were intended to marry is in headlines for CSAM, you know, do you really want to throw yourself in the middle of that? Do you really want to speak on it? Or do you just want to kind of put out a general statement of talk more about the victims and how, you know, hope for justice? But because she was literally the person that was intended to marry him, I guess she feels like now she needs to speak on it. You know, she said this wasn't something she tried to hide. Her closest friends knew. But does any of us feel like we need to broadcast, you know, one of our first boyfriends? Not really. What does it matter? You know, you're older, you've moved on with life, so what does it matter? But in this case, the man she was supposed to marry was Josh Duggar. So Kayla went on to say, I did want to address what I want to do moving forward with my Instagram account. There are a lot of people here following me because of my relations to the Duggars, and they know we were really good friends growing up. I've taken about a week to really think about what I want to do here. I didn't know how to go about keeping my privacy at the same time. I'm going to keep a lot of my life private. I'm going to keep my children's lives private, and I'm attempting to not really go too much in depth about my thoughts. Now I feel like I have to be more careful about what I say and more discreet to keep my family's privacy. Yeah, you know, now you do have a lot of people watching you. You got media outlets watching you. You got bloggers, you know, kind of watching to see if you're going to say anything about him. So I do understand that. You want to keep your children as private as possible. You don't want magazines posting pictures of your kids, right? So, especially if they're going to bash you. Like, don't post pictures of you and your family and then bash you because you were Josh's intended wife, you know, or the person that the parents at least wanted to get married. Now, they dated when they were 14. They courted when they were 14. Obviously, both parents hoped they would go on to get married. It was ended because of Josh's past, and then Josh went on to become engaged and marry Anna. And then they, you know, have 7 children. Now, although Bobby and Jim were very outspoken during the trial, celebrating the fact that Josh was found guilty, Kayla really did not reveal how she felt about the verdict, but we could imagine, right? I'm sure she feels along the similar lines of her family. She knows a lot. I'm sure her mother has told her what Josh admitted to her. So I'm sure she has children. I'm sure she has, you know, a lot of the same feelings that we all have. We are happy to see that justice was finally served in regards to Josh. Josh and the Duggars have never really addressed Josh's courtship with Kayla publicly, and nothing has really been said about that. So I'm glad to see that, you know, she put a little something out there. I would have liked for her to talk a little bit more just about the trial, you know, to say, I'm glad that, you know, the truth has come to light. I'm glad that our courtship ended, you know, something, I don't know. She just really touched on like the attention and how she never tried to hide it. But, you know, some of her friends know, and that going forward what she's going to do. So that's kind of the gist of what she was saying. She's gotten a lot of attention lately because of her courtship, and that courtship came out due to her mom testifying at the trial. And then she's not mad at her mom. She's not upset that her mom had to testify and her mom had to tell the truth and talk about the fact that she once dated Josh Duggar. It wasn't a big secret. People knew about it. So yeah, that's what she has stated so far. If anything else comes out, if she makes any other statement, you know, as far as like how she feels about the verdict, how she feels about Josh going forward, if there was anything crazy that happened in the relationship, you know, I'll be keeping my eye out for that. And if that happens, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But that's a little bit that she stated. Very pretty. She literally looks like Tati Westbrook. It's kind of crazy how much she looks like Tati Westbrook. You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Would you guys like for her to come out and speak a little bit more about her feelings with the verdict, you know, dating Josh? How was it? Let me know your thoughts. Give this video a huge thumbs up. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.